2 pro-EU parties have announced themselves recently, and now a new group, People's Vote, is launching a campaign to persuade MPs that all British citizens should have a further say on any deal that Theresa May strikes with Brussels. Who is fronting this? Not Nick Clegg, not Tony Blair, no Miliband's involved. It's the actor Sir Patrick Stewart, better known for Star Trek and the X-Men. I spoke to him this week and I asked him what exactly People's Vote wants.
We are not opposing or calling for a second referendum. The referendum, the people decided that we should leave the European Union, and we respect that decision. However, as time has gone by, as you well know, the information that we're receiving about the terms and conditions of that separation are quite unlike the terms and conditions that were spoken of so loosely during the 2016 campaign. I mean, the £350 million is now infamous that we were told would be made available weekly for the National Health Service. Good Lord, who knows that? But the National Health Service needs it. Misleading.
They say it will come eventually.
And what guarantees do we have of that? Which is why the campaign for the People's Vote is simply requesting that we have another chance to consider what the terms of this divorce are going to be.
And so your idea is that when Theresa May comes back to the House of Commons and says, this is fundamentally the deal that I have got, that deal should be voted upon by everybody in the UK, yes or no?
Exactly.
What happens if they say no?
Well, I don't know how they would deal with that, but we would simply stay in the Union. That's what that vote would mean.
Because the Union is not clear about that. The EU are saying, well, you know, you might have to go anyway.
Well, at least 2 leaders in Europe have said that if we decide we want to stay, no problem, we can stay. Macron is one of those.
Now, you're a private citizen, and this is an organisation of private citizens rather than full-time politicians, mostly. Tell us, because you're an actor, what are you doing here?
I'm not a politician. I am not an economist. I am not in the Foreign Service. What I am motivated by is history and emotion. When, on the 1st of January in 1973, we formally became, along with Ireland, became members of the European Union. It was one of the grandest days of my life. I'm a war baby. I was born in 1940. And when I began to be aware of the world that was around me, a lot of it was not good. And so when we became formally part of that union, it was for me one of the most exciting days of my adulthood.
So, Patrick, when you say that you accept the original referendum, you don't really. This is about reversing that, what you would regard as a catastrophic decision.
It's not, Andrew. No, it is about giving people all the information which they have been denied to date.
But once they've got that information, you hope that they will vote down the deal that Theresa May is trying to make. Personally,
I do, yes, because I am opposed to separation.
And yet, at the moment, you're a Labour supporter, you always have been. Jeremy Corbyn, your leader, has actually been firing people from the shadow cabinet for saying exactly what you are saying, that there should be a second referendum.
I tell you honestly, I do not understand what is going on with all of that. Jeremy is a puzzle to me. There is a huge question mark, from my own personal point of view, hanging over the leader of the Labour Party at the moment.
Because of this issue, above all?
It's one of the issues.
One of the issues. Now, the People's Vote is launching today in Camden, in North London, where I live as well. But a lot of people would say that is exactly the problem. You have a famous, well-known actor in North London. That is exactly the wrong place to be launching. You should be in West Yorkshire, where you come from, or somewhere well outside the metropolis.
Well, if West Yorkshire invites me, that's where I shall go. But yes, Andrew, yes, celebrity has a certain value. And if my involvement in this campaign is going to be of use to those running the campaign, then I'm very happy to be here, because it happens to be where I philosophically feel about the European community.
And what finally do you say to all those people watching who voted the other way and say, we won that referendum, and now people are trying to unpick it afterwards?
What we are doing is in their benefit. We are saying this is the deal that we're going to sign on to or not. And it is absolutely right and part of the democratic process that you are aware of that. We are holding out a hand to those people.
To pull a majority of MPs over to this viewpoint relatively quickly while the negotiations are going on is very, very tough. Time is very short. You'd have to have superpowers to do it.
Well, if I only had, I would be much more articulate in front of you than I am now. But the two roles I'm most well known for, Jean-Luc Picard from Star Trek and Charles Xavier from X-Men, were excellent, admirable individuals. Yes, intellectuals, but also compassionate and concerned for the well-being of everyone. They would have voted Remain.